Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Aviators South Africa podcast, Aviation Sunday Ep.7. My name is Kabir and I'm the host on the show with Warwick. Today on the show we'll be joined by our fellow aviation enthusiasts Devarshan and Thomas.
In this episode we're going to be talking about British Airways' brand new onboard catering, the VoltAero Cassio electric hybrid aircraft, and the Cessna SkyCourier taking to the skies on their first maiden flights. And we'll be sharing this week's weekly aviation shoutout winner. Enjoy the podcast.
This is the Aviators South Africa. This episode is in association with African Pilot magazine. Subscribe to Africa's finest aviation magazine today. For more information, go to www.africanpilot.co.za. Producing this content takes a lot of time and effort. Therefore, why don't you become a member of our channel through Buy Me a Coffee or on our website? This will assist us financially and allow us to continue providing quality aviation content to South Africa and beyond. As a member of our channel, you will receive members-only aviation tech content reviews, get early YouTube videos and podcasts, and even get featured on our podcast and YouTube episodes. To do this, click on the links in the description. There's a Buy Me a Coffee link and there's a link in our website. If you click on the link to our website, you will get a 10-day free trial and then you can decide whether you'd like to continue. Alternatively, just buy us a coffee on the link below. $5 a coffee. Thank you for supporting us. Enjoy the episode.
So we have been talking about what aviation is going to look like when we partly return to normal. And so far we have talked about air ticket prices, in-flight social distancing, and now we are going to talk about flight catering. British Airways are now releasing a pre-packaged food pack for the duration of the flight.
These packages consist of a bottle of water and of course a meal. These meals will vary in different classes of travel. All of the meals will be served in a box, regardless of class.
First class, Club World, BA's flagship business class, World Traveller Plus and World Traveller, that is their premium economy and economy product, have all been catered for.
There will still be an option for different drinks for passengers during the flight. However, they will only be consumed out of a can or a bottle.
These packaging systems are being put in place all around the world and are limiting the contact during the flight between the cabin crew and the passengers. This has been done so that the crew are not making your meal, hopefully curbing the spread of COVID-19.
You can let us know your favorite airline's packaging system or other way of onboard meals or drinks in the comments below.
Express 866, contact approach 19050.
That's a Boeing 5172, we are descending flight level 70 on course to Sierra Papa Lima.
Ocean Yankee, descend flight level 100, after active proceed to Sierra Papa Yankee.
On 18 May, Textron Aviation announced the first flight of the new twin utility turboprop.
The team of employees, suppliers and customers were pleased that the SkyCourier performed exactly as it should have. Corey Eckert, the pilot of the maiden flight, said they were very pleased on how the SkyCourier performed and how stable it was upon landing and takeoff.
The prototype of this aircraft will be to expand on performance. This will be mainly forced on aerodynamics and testing of all high-quality flight controls.
There will be a 6,000 pound or 2,722 kilogram payload capable freighter, or there will be the option for a full 19 passenger configuration. There will also be a mix of freighter and passenger, so it can carry some of each.
This is very useful because it is still on all the same basic platform.
Still on the topic of new aircraft and maiden flights, the VoltAero Cassio electric hybrid aircraft took off on its maiden flight from a small airport in France.
The Cassio is an amazing aircraft. The biggest model has capacity to carry 10 passengers. It has an 800-mile range with a cruise speed of 200 knots. It will come with 3 different variants.
These will have different seating capacities and range. It is quite a feat to see an aircraft like this take shape.
This will hopefully be a sustainable aircraft and will be good for smaller regional airlines. They plan on delivering the aircraft in 2022. It will be interesting to see how the situation plays out.
So we are now going to be talking about both aircraft, the VoltAero Cassio and the Cessna SkyCourier. So we're going to start with the Cessna SkyCourier. What do we think of it, Warwick?
I definitely think that it's a good concept. The fact that it can carry up to 19 passengers, if it's kitted out for passenger only, then that's quite useful. But the fact that you can get a mix of cargo and passenger is a great feature which Cessna have thought of.
And definitely in America, I think that will be very useful. But I recently read that the European Civil Aviation authorities there have agreed that you are no longer allowed to carry proper cargo with passengers at the same time. So that will be a kind of downfall for the Cessna SkyCourier. But Warwick, you have something to say?
It definitely will be a bit of a downfall in the US, but for other countries around the world, and most countries around the world, you still are able to carry proper cargo.
Yeah.
So it won't work as well in the US, that specific model.
You mean in Europe?
Europe, sorry.
The US will work well.
Yeah, it will work well everywhere else, or it should.
I agree. It's got a 2,722 kg payload, which is good. And this aircraft has actually already been selected by FedEx. And it's quite a clever move because I think it's a lot more sustainable in terms of how much fuel that it takes. And I think it's very clever from FedEx. You know, they are the first official customer of the Cessna SkyCourier. So we are now going to move on to the VoltAero Cassio. And Devarshan, do you think that this plane is going to help airlines become more sustainable?
Well, I guess it could, because remember, it's not polluting the air as much because it's electric once again, and it will be a better outcome in the Earth's lifespan.
Exactly. So in terms of climate change, so the other thing with the VoltAero Cassio is it has an 800-mile range, which is, we've just worked it out, it's about 1,287 kilometers. And we worked out if you fly only electric, you can completely fly electrically to Durban. But here's the thing. From Johannesburg, obviously. You can't just make it to Cape Town with electric. But the beauty of the VoltAero Cassio is it has the ability to immediately take in a fuel injection. So as you are running out of electrical range, you can immediately inject the aircraft's engine with some jet fuel. And so then, theoretically, it could make the flight to Cape Town. I understand, though, that 10 passengers is not a lot, but I think it's really going to be good in South Africa, specifically for kind of bush aircraft, not bush aircraft, but rather flights to game reserves, etc. Warwick, what do you think of the Cassio?
As you just said, it may work for bush aircraft, but you've also got to then look on the different option that it may not work for that, because a lot of the rural bush airports may not have a sustainable power supply to refuel as such the aircraft. So fuel kind of makes sense for the bush aircraft. However, it is much more sustainable for airlines to use, and it's much better for the environment.
That is a very fair point. But the other thing is, VoltAero obviously is not as though necessarily like an electric car. It will partly be like that, where you plug, it only has one battery. But, these kind of aircraft, they are talking about having interchangeable batteries. So if that is the case, and they still need more range, which I doubt it really, because a lot of these airports from Joburg are not more, than a few hundred Ks. But if it does run out of range, maybe the airline will carry an extra battery and the mechanics will swap out the battery. So you'll have one full and carry the empty one back to the hub. But it will be interesting to see. What do you think, Warwick?
The other option is they could use, if they used a shortish route, as an example from Joburg to Durban, but say Durban don't have enough power, or they've got a power outage or whatever, if they still can use it, if they, from Johannesburg to Durban, that's not very far. So the 800-mile range should get, well, it will get them back to Johannesburg.
Yes.
So they could do a 2-in-1, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. So, airlines will have to be very cautious about their routes and where they fly this aircraft. But it's really amazing because, we had the Airbus E-Fan X, and that has been, the project has been cancelled. But we have never really seen, a proper aircraft that has the capability for passengers and cargo to take off into the skies with an all-electric motor and possibility for fuel injection. And the video that VoltAero published is really amazing to see such a feat, just be pulled off like that. So we will link the video in the description. It's so cool to see this project unfold. This week's weekly aviation shout-out winner is APA News. APA News is Africa's fastest-growing aviation news service. They provide weekly newsletters via email to aviators around the world. We use APA News and enjoy seeing the variety of content that it has to offer. From the man who ate a plane to the coverage of what's happening inside South African Airways. It's all there.
APA News is a part of African Pilot magazine, and you should definitely sign up for the weekly APA News. There's a link in the description below. Thank you to APA News for providing very interesting and informative aviation news stories to South Africa and beyond. This is an extension of the Aviated South Africa podcast. Find us on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and more. Look in the description for the links. Also, please like and subscribe. Happy flying!
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Aviators South Africa. We'll see you next time on next week Sunday, 3 p.m. South African time. Please stay safe, stay home. Together we can beat the coronavirus. # Stay Home South Africa. To find out more about the coronavirus, visit sacoronavirus.co.za for more information. There's also a WhatsApp support number at 0600 123 456. That is 0600 123 456. Stay safe, South Africa.